I didn't want to fucking start this video, but like, Warren and I got fucking lost. Where the fuck are we?
Mount Baldy.
We are in Mount Baldy. We've been here since fucking 7 in the morning, and we got lost in the fucking trails. And here we are, fucking in the middle of fucking in the sticks of fucking San Bernardino. And bitch, look at me. Oh my god. Wait, hold up. Let me show you what's happening. Hey everybody, it's Holiday Branch and welcome back to my YouTube channel. You guys, Warren and I had a near-death experience this Halloween on a full moon. Now, it's funny now to laugh about the situation, but like you guys, during that moment, like I literally thought I was gonna die, and I literally thought Warren and I, we were gonna die together forever and ever. But thank God that that didn't happen. Now, if you guys have been following me on Instagram, and if you haven't, I highly suggest that you do. My Instagram name is IamHolidayBranch. Now, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I highly suggest that you do, because everything that happens to me at that moment, y'all will know. And then this is basically the extension, the explanation, bringing you context of what the fuck happened. For those who have been following me on Instagram, I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the sweet comments, for the I hope you guys are okay, thank God you guys are okay comments. Thank you for everyone who has been calling me and checking on Warren and I really do appreciate it. It just makes me feel like, you know, it just makes me feel so much more better, because like at that very moment when Warren and I, we were like at a point at like giving up, we were like thinking that like, who the fuck is gonna help us? Like, I hope someone finds us, and we end up getting helped. But a lot of things happened that led to the situation that we got ourselves into. And so I'm telling you guys this story about how we end up getting lost at Mount Baldy, and we end up getting airlifted back to safety. This is how the story begins. So Warren and I, we got invited to go hiking at Mount Baldy by a friend of a friend. Now, we're gonna name this particular guy who ended up abandoning us in the middle of the fucking hike. We're gonna call him Greg. And the friend who was introducing us to Greg, his name is John. Now, John and Greg have known each other for a really long time. They are friends from church. John was introducing Warren to Greg because, you know, they had a lot of common interest, and they just wanted to, you know, introduce each other so they can, you know, hang out for future, you know, dates and stuff like that. And so what ended up happening is that the guy ended up planning the whole event. He was like, hey, let's go hiking on Saturday and meet me at 7 in the morning at this parking structure. So Warren and I wake up at 5 in the morning, and we're trying to meet everyone on time. And because of that, we didn't really prepare for this fucking hike. We literally had 2 separate camelbacks full of fresh water, and we only packed like a couple of granola bars. Warren and I did not eat anything because, once again, we were trying to meet this person at 7 in the morning. We're on our way there. We end up getting a text about like 6:50, and the guy, Greg, told us, hey, you know what? I'm on my way. I'm going to be an hour late. And so I'm not gonna lie, it kind of rubbed me off the wrong way when he sent that text, because I was just like, really, dude, like, you're the one that planned this, and you're the one that told us to meet you at 7 in the morning, and now we gotta wait for you like a full-blown hour in the fucking parking structure. And mind you, we're going to the mountains, so like there's no cell service, so we don't even know what the guy looks like. We can't even call him, so we're just gonna like just wait, right? So we got to the parking structure. We end up meeting John and his kid. His kid is like 11 years old, right? So it's 5 of us. It's John's kid, Warren, me, and Greg, right? So we get there, and we realize that like everybody around us is like super prepared for this hike. I'm talking about sweaters, I'm talking about hiking boots, I'm talking about like, you know, climbing sticks, I'm talking about jackets, fucking backpacks. Like, these people are like ready to hike this fucking mountain. And me coming from LA, I'm thinking like, we're just gonna hike for like maybe 2 hours at most, and then just go back home, because that's what you do at LA when you're like hiking mountains like Griffith Park or Palos Verdes. You just hike for like maybe an hour or two and then come back. I didn't know until we got there and we met the dude for the first time, and he told us, hey, we're gonna climb all the way to the top. I don't know what the top means. At this point, I'm thinking that we're gonna climb to go see a view of something, and I did not know that what he meant from climbing the top meant that we were gonna climb all the way to like the top, like 10,000 fucking feet in the air top. Now, to give you an idea what Mount Baldy is, Mount Baldy is the fucking mountains that people use when they're showing pictures of LA. So I'm gonna insert a picture right over here. Every fucking postcard that you see from LA and you see those 3 mountains full of snows, that is Mount Baldy. That is the mountain that we climbed all the way to the top with no food, little water. I had fucking tennis shoes. I had my gym tennis shoes and leggings on. And we had nothing in our systems. We didn't eat shit. And so I kept thinking that we were gonna like just go to a view and that's it. But his idea was to go climb all the way to the top and climb all the way down by 3 o'clock. So once again, this guy ended up planning the whole hike. He was saying, we're gonna be here from 7 in the morning all the way till 3 o'clock because I have kids at home and I have to be at home by 3 o'clock because we need to like celebrate Halloween. So we're in a time crunch, but this guy wants to take us all the way to the top. And he knows that Warren and I have no experience in hiking. He clearly sees that we're not even fucking prepared for this fucking hike. Now, I'm going to break this hike in 2 parts. The first part is we're climbing from the freaking parking structure all the way to a ski hut. So when we met this guy, Greg, he told us, hey, there's 2 options. We can hike the regular trail, the really nice flat trail, or we can take my shortcut that I know. And I was like, well, why don't we why don't we hike the fucking, nice trail? And the reason why is because he said that because the trail is so flat, it takes longer, maybe like 2 hours longer to get to the top. And it would take the shortcut, it would save us like about an hour. I'm like thinking, all right, let's take the shortcut. Once again, this guy has climbed this mountain so many fucking times that he already knows shortcuts. And these shortcuts are typically like unmarked trails, meaning that nobody takes these type of trails unless you're an experienced hiker. And the reason why they're unmarked is because they're so fucking dangerous. So when we got to the ski hut, we climbed from like one ski hut from the bottom all the way to the top of the fucking part of the mountain. It was like a part of the mountain that we were climbing. A bunch of fucking rocks, trees, acorns, dirt. There was no trail, like nothing at all. And the only thing that we could see from human civilization is the fucking like the ski huts, back and forth. And there's people on the ski huts like, riding above us. And they're just like looking at the bottom like, what the fuck? Like, what are these fucking crazy people doing? It was so fucking exhausting. And so, mind you, John's kid is like 11 years old. And she has like this like Timberland type of boots. So they're not even hiking boots that she has. They're just like really thick work boots. So she's like hiking this like mountain right here. And she's climbing rocks and she's like so freaking exhausted. She's like taking breaks and she's like asking for water and she's asking for food. And I'm not gonna lie, I was like on her own pace because I was just as exhausted as her. And so we get to the top of the mountain, right? Which is like the ski hut. It was not even top of the mountain, it was just like a top of a hill. And we get to a ski hut, and so we end up getting water. We use the restroom, and at that point, John and his kid was like, "All right, we are done for the day. She's exhausted. We're just gonna go back home." It took us like about like maybe 2 hours to climb that entire hill. And the reason why it took us a long time was because we had his kid and we were taking breaks and stuff. And so we were left behind with Greg. It was just three of us. We were just left with this guy. And so he gave us two options as well. Do you want to take the shortcut or do you want to take the easy trails? And so at this point, we're like, well, we're in a crunch time because you need to go back home by 3. So we might as well take the shortcut. And at this point, we're like trusting him because we're climbing to the top, whatever that fucking meant at that moment. And he's like, oh yeah, sure. Like, I know this shortcut. It's a little bit harder than, than the easy trials, but you'll be able to get there a lot more quicker. And I was like, all right, okay, let's do it. So we're going up on this fucking hill. Same thing. It's an unmarked trail. There's nothing but rocks. There's nothing but dirt and like fucking trees around. So we're hiking and we're hiking and we're hiking and we're hiking. There comes a point in where like the weather is starting to shift back and forth. And what I mean by that is that because these mountains are in the middle of LA, it kind of divides like LA County from like, like it divides LA County for sure. And there's a part in where like if you're on one side of the mountain, it gets really, really, really hot because you're on the desert side of Los Angeles. But if you're in the other side of the mountain, it gets super cold and windy and dry because you're facing the fucking ocean. So as we are hiking, the fucking sun is beating on us, and as you can tell, I'm like completely sunburned because I was not prepared to be walking around the sun for like all the way to like 4 in the fucking afternoon. And then at one moment it gets really fucking cold to the point where like my lips and my hands are like dry. Like all day I've been putting nothing but chapstick because my lips are still recovering from the dryness of that hike. It was just exhausting. And as we are climbing higher and higher of this fucking mountain, the fucking roads, the trails are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and they're getting more like steepier as well, and there's nothing but rocks. And as I'm fucking hiking, there's like rocks looking down, just nothing but rocks and trees. And so there come a point in where I was just like, dude, like if I fucking faint because I can't even catch my breath at this point because number one, I'm exhausted, and number two, the elevation is so high at this point, I'm gonna fucking die. I'm going to die. And so we come to this point in the hike that is called the Devil's Backbone. Now, the Devil's Backbone is what you can imagine. It's like the backbone of the mountain. You're not even climbing the side of the mountain. You're climbing the backbone of the mountain. You're like on top of a hill at this point. I am walking, well, as I am hiking this fucking trail, the sides of my eyes are just going like berserk. And the reason why is because there's nothing but trees. There's nothing but like fucking rocks in the bottom. So at this point, I'm just like telling myself like, you know what? You just need to look at the rocks, concentrate, because if you look down, you're gonna fucking faint. And I make it to the other side of the fucking hill. And like, you guys, at this point, like we're literally like on the way to the fucking top. And at this point, you're not even going straight to the top. You're going zigzag all the way to the mountain to get to the top. As you're zigzagging the sides of the mountains, the weather is changing dramatically. One side it'll be really, really hot, and one side it'll be really, really cold and windy. And because at this point we're like nearly 10,000 feet up in the fucking air, my freaking lungs just couldn't hold air anymore. And I kept stopping because I was just like, I can't breathe. I feel like I'm going to faint. I'm so hungry. I'm like, at this point, like taking all of my water because I literally couldn't breathe. Like I literally couldn't take a deep breath and like, you know, like expand my lungs because we were like so high. And even the guy, Greg, was like looking at me. He's like, you don't look good. And I'm like, I don't feel good, but I'm already here. I might as well climb all the way to the top. So we're zigzagging all the way to the top until we actually get to the top of the fucking mountain. And like, you guys, you literally can see everything. You can see fucking Orange County, you can see LA County, you can see Catalina, you can see the fucking ocean. Like, it is the top of LA. Like, for real. Like, you're in top of LA where you're on the top of Mount Baldy. Like, that's how high I am. And so Warren and I take our picture. We're like really happy. And at this point, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna like sit down for like 10-20 minutes because my legs are shaking, my ankle is swollen, like I need to catch my breath because I'm exhausted. Hell no. At this time, it was like around like 11 or 12 o'clock. So it took us like from 7 in the morning all the way till like 12 o'clock. Let's say 12 o'clock. It took us like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It took us 6 hours. 6 hours to get to the fucking top. And so he literally was like, hey, I need to be back home like by 3 o'clock. We have like 2 hours to climb down this fucking hill. We need to go now. And so I was like, all right, I took a 5-minute break. Let's go to the bottom of the hill. It should be easy, right? Well, instead of going back the way that we climbed up, he ended up taking us to a whole different trail that we didn't know anything about. So once again, we didn't took the trail back the way that we came from. He literally was taking us to a whole different trail. Now, I need to remind you that like these trails at Mount Baldy, they're not very touristy friendly. They're like, it's for experts only. I'm just gonna say it like that. Like, if you don't know where you're going, you don't know anything about this fucking like mountain, literally one wrong turn can like result in you getting lost, because that's what happened to us. There's no signs, there's no like chains, there's nothing. So the only thing that you see is just dirt trails. And sometimes those dirt trails can disappear randomly because it's nature. Like, rocks and trees fall down, shit happens. But the only thing that was keeping us, you know, like on the path was because there was hikers coming, you know, down the hill with us. But because I was just so fucking exhausted, I literally couldn't keep up with Warren and Greg. And it was, dude, like sometimes even going down down a fucking mountain is so much more harder than climbing up, because everything is steepy. It's still steepier. It's still like at a fucking 75-degree angle. Like, it's still steepier, and there's just as much as rocks as you were climbing up. But sometimes when you climb up, those rocks help you. But if you are like stepping down on the wrong rock, you can fall off. And I did. I ended up falling off so many times when I was going down. Even the fucking people with the fucking sticks, they were even falling down too. They were like sliding off. And I remember Greg like told me like, hey, you need to be careful because those rocks are really, really sharp and they could cut your pants. Well, I end up cutting my pants, but this was like way after after the fact. But yeah, so because I was just exhausted and I couldn't keep up, and this guy was in a fucking time crunch, he literally looked at Warren and said, you know what? I'm already an hour and a half late, and I have to meet my family for Halloween. Is it okay if I let you guys go? And Warren at this point, like he never met the dude. He doesn't even know him. And he was just like, you know what? You just do whatever you need to do. We'll be fine. She's just really exhausted. She can't really keep up. And so the guy was like, awesome. So the only thing he said to Warren is follow this trail and it will take you back to your car. That's the only thing he said. He didn't say, hey, be careful. He didn't give us directions. He didn't say anything. He just told us, just follow this trail and you'll get back to your car. So Warren and I are climbing down this trail. Once again, these trails are so fucking dangerous because they're steep, there's rocks, and there's dirt everywhere. And the only thing that was keeping us from getting lost was because there was hikers. But because I was so exhausted and I couldn't even keep up with the fucking hikers. I literally could not keep up with the fucking hikers. Like the hikers that were right behind me, they were passing right through me because I literally couldn't keep up. And Warren at one point was just like, babe, come on, hurry up, because it's already 2 o'clock and it's gonna get dark. I'm trying to get back home. And I'm like, Warren, I can't. And so we end up in the middle of the trail. And in the middle of this trail, there's like a set of boulders in this trail, like a set of rocks. And we are so confused because we're like, what the fuck do we do? Like, do we climb the rocks? And then there was this group of guys who were like right behind us. And of course they end up like, pass, through us. And we saw the fucking guys walking like towards the boulders, and we even saw the heads between the boulders. And Warren's all like, I think this is part of the path. And I told him like, I can't climb on top of those boulders. Like they're so fucking high. And like, you guys, like there's like rocks and like gaps between these fucking boulders. And I had to climb all those fucking boulders to get to the other side of the trail. This was like our mentality. We have to get, on top of these boulders and get through these set of boulders so we can continue the trail. So we climbed this set of boulders, and when we climb this entire set of boulders, we start realizing that there is no trail. But we get kind of hopeful because we see like a group of rocks going down. We didn't know that it was a valley, but we should have known that it was a valley, but it was a valley of rocks. And we're like, you know what? If we go down this, we'll find the trail. You guys, we end up being in the middle of a fucking valley. And we're getting lower and lower and lower to the fucking mountain. At this point, we're not even on the mountain. We're in the valley. We're in the valley between two fucking mountains. And the mountains are so steep that we couldn't even climb down the fucking set of fucking rocks. We couldn't even climb down the fucking valley. And my legs were shaking at this point that I started sliding off from the fucking rocks. And I kept telling Warren, like, this is not the trail. And because we were already so deep in the fucking valley, that when we looked up and we tried to like even think about climbing, the fucking hill to go back to the set of boulders and to go back on the trail that we were like, I don't like, we can't because it's so steep and there's nothing but rocks. We literally like slide like down these fucking rocks. Like, you guys, like my leggings, they end up ripping on my butt, and my butt was scratched by so many fucking rocks because I literally was sliding off of the fucking valley. It was so fucking scary. It was so fucking scary. And Warren kept screaming for help. He's like yelling, like, help, help, help. Like, somebody finds us. Like, where are we? And literally, out of nowhere, we hear someone scream, where are you? And we scream, we're at the bottom, we're at the valley. And we turn around, and on the left hand side of the fucking mountain, there's like two people. There's like two white people. There's a girl with a white jacket and a hat and black leggings, another man with a black shirt, and he's like waving at us. He's just like, we're here, we're here, we're here. He's like, the trail is right here. Climb this mountain so you can get on top of the trail. And you guys, we were in the middle of this fucking valley, and there's like nothing but like rocks and bushes. We hear a river. We hear a fucking river. We hear water, and we're like, oh my fucking God, we have to like go across this fucking like, you know, valley of rocks. We have to pass these fucking bushes, and we have to cross the fucking river to get to the other side of the mountain. And not only do we have to go all through all of that, we have to also climb this fucking mountain. We have to like fucking crawl the mountain that is like fucking 75 degrees angle, like to get on top of the fucking, to get on the fucking trail. Like, we have to do this. And like, you guys, I literally couldn't do it. Like, my legs at this point were like giving up. We were like, all right, like, we have to do this. And so the way that we thought about getting on top of the fucking trail is just like, all right, we got to go all the way down to the valley because the valley seems walkable. At least if we get to the river, we can jump over that. And then if we jump the fucking river, we can climb to the fucking hill and get back on the trail. So Warren and I, we like go all the way down the valley, and we get to a part where like it's a flat surface, right? So we go and jump the small river. It was really, really small. It was not that bad. Oh, and because we had no water, I forgot this fucking part. Because we had no water and we had no food, and we didn't know how long it was gonna take us to get back home. We literally grabbed our camelbacks and like put water inside our camelbacks. Like, you guys need to understand, this is how desperate we were. We were like, okay, if we don't find help, by today, we need to have at least water. So like, Warren grabs our fucking camelbacks and like puts water from the river in our camelbacks. And like, you guys, we were like thinking like, oh my God, this is so fucking disgusting. We're gonna get fucking E. coli, we're gonna get fucking diarrhea, but we don't care. We need fucking water for the night at least. And so then, and it's so funny because we were sliding off the rocks and I kept falling from the rocks. Not only did it cut a hole on my fucking leggings, but it cut a hole on my fucking camelback. So as I'm like climbing this fucking hill, trying to get back to the trail, there's like water like leaking all over my bag. Like all over my backpack, my bag, my butt that's already fucking exposed. My butt is like, has scratches and everything. So every time when like water runs on it, it burns like hell. Warren's all like, we need to climb this fucking hill. And I'm like, I can't climb the hill. Like, Warren, I'm telling you right now, I can't climb the hill. You had to, because it's gonna get dark, and when it gets dark, it's gonna get really dangerous. Animals are gonna start coming out. We need to get to the car. So on the hill, and Warren's on top, like in front of me, because I tell him, I don't know where I'm going. I'm trusting you. You need to like be in front of me. So he's climbing the rocks, but because these rocks are so fucking unpredictable, that if you step on the wrong rock while you're climbing this steepy hill, these rocks can like literally fall down on you. Like, it's so dangerous. So as we're climbing, Warren steps on a rock, and this rock falls straight to my fucking face. And I'm like screaming at this point. I'm like, fuck, like I'm gonna get my fucking face beaten with a fucking rock. And so I moved to the side, and it did not hit my face, but it hit my thigh. And it hit my thigh so fucking hard that it literally pushed me down back to the fucking valley. And I start screaming. I just start crying. And Warren's like screaming, babe, I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. I'm sorry. Like, if you want, you can climb in front of me. And I'm like screaming, like, I can't do this anymore. You need to go on top of the fucking mountain. You need to go to like back to the trail, because I can't do this anymore. I'll stay here. Go find help. And Warren is such a fucking sweetheart. He's like, I'm not gonna leave you behind. Like, I'm not gonna leave you behind, Stephanie. Like, I can't. And I'm like screaming because I'm just like, I can't. And like, you guys, when all of this was happening, you guys didn't understand that I didn't tell anybody that we were gonna go hiking. Like, nobody knew that we were hiking. That was the worst part. Like, this was all bad to begin with, because number one, I didn't tell anybody that we were gonna go hiking. I didn't tell my family that we were gonna go hiking. I didn't post anything on Instagram that we were going hiking, because I thought that this fucking trip was going to be so insignificant. I didn't think we were gonna go all the way to the top. I didn't think that we were gonna go all the way to the top of the mountains. Like, if I would have known that we were gonna go on top of the mountains, I would have told somebody, because this type of shit happens. Like, you guys, like, movies, like, there's suspend movies that are based on these type of fucking events, like getting lost in the fucking, like, you know, in the Grand Canyon, getting lost in the fucking jungle of Amazon. Like, these type of things do happen. And I didn't tell anybody because I thought that this was so insignificant. And you guys, this was on Halloween too. So like, my family members were gonna come to my house at like around 2 or 3 o'clock, because we were gonna, like, you know, prepare food, we're gonna have a good dinner, and I was gonna take my little sisters to go trick-or-treating. And as this was happening, as we were climbing the mountain, because it was already 11 or 12 o'clock, I kept getting missed calls from my mom and my dad, like back to back to back, and I couldn't answer them because we had no fucking service there. So I couldn't even call my mom and tell my mom, like, hey mom, sorry, I'm gonna be late because I'm in the middle of the fucking mountain that I didn't prepare for, you know? Like, that, like, it just never occurred to me. And so while Warren and I were like sliding down these fucking rocks, down this fucking valley, I'm like crying at this point. I'm like crying and yelling out loud, God, like, God, please send help. Please have my mom call the cops. Please have my mom send someone, because, like, I think we're gonna be here all fucking night. And Warren, like, how fucking bad, how was I? Was I like terrible? Yeah, like, Warren was like trying to calm me down, because he was just like, you need to go home, like, calm down. And I just I just thought I was gonna lose my shit. And so, out of the grace of God, you guys, we started seeing a helicopter. Now, I need to tell you something, okay? When we were climbing down the bottom of the mountain, a helicopter was flying around. And you could tell this helicopter was like trying to find someone. And Greg was like telling us that those helicopter rides are typically very expensive, and that he had a friend who had a car crash in the mountains, so they had to get, you know, picked up. They had to get airlifted. And so Warren and I, we didn't have any signal. We tried calling the cops, but because there was no signal, like, there was nothing that we could do. And the only contact that we had was from those two fucking hikers that were all the way on top of the fucking hill. They were on the trail, and we kept yelling at them like, please send help, please send help. And we would yell like on top of our lungs, like randomly, like, please help, send us help, like we need help. And so by the grace of God, while we were in the middle of the fucking hill, and I'm crying because I just got hit by this fucking rock, we start hearing like wind, and we hear a helicopter. And so Warren and I are like screaming, and we're like waving our hands like, help, help, we need help. And they look at us and they're like, did you call for help? And we're like, no, we didn't call for help, but we need help because she's, we're hurt. And so I literally was like crying at this point, because I'm just like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what are the chances that we got help, right? We are in the booty crack of this fucking San Bernardino fucking mountain. We climbed that fucking place all the way up, and for some fucking reason, we got fucking lost. We fucking slide all the way down, thinking that we might find a trail. Guess what? The fucking trail is up there. Like, dude, like now there's like a fucking helicopter, like trying to fucking, like literally, like we found two fucking people in the middle of the trail trying to, oh, look, there it is. There's a helicopter. What's good? That's a $30,000 bill. A $30,000 bill that we're gonna have to pay because our dumbasses got lost. Oh my fucking God.
Do you want to just try climbing?
But the thing is that, like, when you like were like right behind me and the boulder fell down, like it literally was almost clutching my face. So I moved my arm and I moved my face, and it hit me in the fucking like leg, and I literally thought I broke it. So it's just not safe. And like, oh my God, my asshole, there's holes in my, like, there's holes in my fucking like leggings now. It's, oh my fucking God. I know. Wow, you guys, I'm literally gonna fucking die here. I literally thought that we were gonna like die. I was all like, oh my God. And my butt like burns because like there's holes on my leggings and.
I don't know if they're coming for us or not.
I said there are, and to be patient. We can't climb that because like when you were like climbing, you like stepped on a loose rock and it almost hit me in the face.
Alright. Sorry. We're probably waiting for the wind to die down or something, and then they're gonna like send somebody with like a grappling hook or something to take us out like a claw machine.
It's gonna be $30,000. Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to get like coordinations or something. Like these bitches are like at like a 45-degree angle from this fucking mountain high right next to the fucking river. Dude, my mom must be so worried right now.
It's like our 3rd anniversary too. So
Oh my God, yes, remember when we got locked out?
yeah, it seems like every Halloween something bad happens.
We're not going out for Halloween anymore.
What happened last time? Oh yeah, the
Fucking minimal effort!
Yeah, and then,
Oh my God!
and then before that,
Your keys got lost in the thing.
yeah.
and you got locked out. You had like to pay like $300 to the fucking locksmith. And we got so drunk and we got so late that we couldn't.
Well, let's just not ever go out on Halloween. It's just bad luck always.
It's bad luck and it's a full moon. Nothing bad happened to us in 2020 until right now.
It's okay. At least we're getting out fine. Alright. Just the best thing right now is just to stay put.
Okay.
Alright?
I know. Oh my god. I'm just making sure that we're like in the same place. That's why. Oh my god. They end up lifting us, and the guy who put the harness on me, he was just like, hey, you know, like the trail is 120 feet high, right? And we're like, we know the trail is up there, but we literally got off the trail and we like, you know, we like literally slide off this entire fucking valley. But as we were climbing the fucking hill, she got hit by a boulder. So even if we wanted to climb, we can't because she's already scared. And like, you guys, at this point, I was just like already traumatized because like the last thing I wanted was to get like hit by a boulder. And so the guy airlifted me, and he was so sweet, God bless his soul. And then he airlifted Warren, and we were like, thank you guys. Like when you see those fucking when I saw the fucking sheriff's department, I was so fucking happy. And so, mind you, the persons that, like, the people that fucking airlifted us was the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. And the only thing that we could say was thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That was the only thing we could say because we literally thought we were going to fucking die. And so the sheriff, who ends up taking our fucking IDs, and he was doing the police report, he was all like, what happened? And so I tell him the story, like, hey, we came with this group, 2 of them left. The guy who was leading us all the way to the top didn't tell us that we were actually going to go to the top. And when he was taking us back down, he ended up leaving us behind because he needed to be back home by 3 o'clock. And the sheriff was so fucking upset. So of course we gave everyone's government name, and we definitely gave the sheriff the name of the guy that technically abandoned us. And we told him how we got lost. And he was just like, I need to tell you guys this. Mount Baldy is one of the most dangerous mountains in this entire fucking country. All of this is wilderness. This is nature at its peak. And the fact that you guys didn't bring any water, you guys didn't bring any food, you guys have no blankets, no compass, no maps, and the fact that the guy abandoned you, like, this is the reason why people like you get lost and they end up dying in this fucking mountains. And he technically didn't scold us, but he told us, like, hey, for the next time, bring a map, study the map, and prepare as if you're gonna spend the night here, because sometimes these trails can be so fucking dangerous and shit can happen. It can rain, it can snow, like anything can happen. So you might be stuck at the night. So you need to be prepared to have food, have a tent, have shelter for the next day until someone finds you. And Warren and I, we were not prepared. I brought tennis shoes, I brought leggings. I ended up borrowing a jacket from my friend because the sweater that I had was so fucking thin that like the wind was like passing through me. And he was just like, and dude, whoever is that guy, like, fuck him, you know, like, that's terrible. And Ward and I, like, by the time that we got to our car, by the time that the sheriff's department dropped us off to our car, it was already dark. It was pitch black dark. And like, oh my god, it was fucking terrible. Warren, what did you think? What do you have your insight from this?
Well, it was bad.
This part, Warren.
Well, the scariest part was knowing that we may not be found. And I don't know. I think that's a pretty big fear, knowing that there's nobody that's gonna come to save you.
And like, it was just all by luck, right? That they found us, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, cause like the sheriff was all like, we were on our way to find someone else. Like that was a whole thing, cause we literally thought that those two hikers that found us on the bottom of the fucking valley, we thought that they sent for help, but the sheriff's department said, I need to let you know that we don't do routine checks. There'll be some days where we don't even pick the helicopter. But the reason why we were flying was because someone actually called for help. It's a man, it's an individual that called for help. And we're trying to find him. And while we were trying to find him, we found you guys. And we were left in shock because we're like, oh shit, like what if we would have what if I never climbed? What if we never climbed the hill? What if we didn't climb the hill on time to get back to the trail and it got dark? Like, what would have happened? And so they told us, like, you need to be prepared, as if like you're gonna go spend the night over there because shit like this happens all the time. And so as Warren and I were like talking about this, Warren got really curious and started going online, and see like stories of like hikers getting lost. And apparently a lot of hikers end up getting lost in that fucking mountain. I think recently a fucking experienced hiker from Irvine, he was hiking on Mount Baldy with a group, but his group decided to stop at some point because they didn't want to go on top because it was already snowing. And when you're in snow, it can get really, really dangerous. And so the guy was like, well, I'm just going to go climb on the top and I'll meet you guys at the bottom. The guy never came back. He ended up getting on top of the fucking mountain, but same thing happened. As he was climbing down, he ended up getting lost and he froze to death. And so like, there's so many fucking stories, which I'm going to put below, down in this fucking YouTube video. But like, you guys, like, it was just so fucking scary because it was just a lot of bad things happened. First of all, we didn't prepare to go on this hike because we didn't think we were gonna go all the way to the top. When we got to the top, we were trying to beat time. We're trying to beat this guy's time schedule, and I literally couldn't keep up. And because I couldn't keep up, the guy fucking left us and didn't tell us, didn't give us, like, he just told us like, hey, you know what, like, just go down and it'll take you to the car. Like, that's the only thing that he said. And so at this point, would I ever go back? No, I would never go like climbing again. I would never fucking like go to the fucking mountains. I will never go back on a hike. I don't even want to know shit about nature. And I definitely plan not to talk to that guy ever again. Oh, and just to put the cherry on top, we're going to end up getting billed for being airlifted back to safety. So like when we went to the sheriff's department, they took all of our information, and the sheriff told us, like, you may get billed for this. And so that fucking helicopter ride must cost like about like $20,000, maybe 30,000. Maybe they might charge us double because it was two people that had, that had to get airlifted. But yeah, we're gonna get billed for that. And so my mom is so fucking pissed because she's like saying, honestly, I think the person who left you behind should get billed because he was the one that was responsible for you guys. Like, how, like, my mom is so fucking pissed because she was like saying, like, this guy literally took you guys all the way to the top, knowing that you guys had no experience, knowing that you guys had no food, no water, nothing. You guys had nothing with you guys, and he still took you guys all the way to the top. And he was responsible to take you down as well. He didn't want to take you guys because you guys were such an inconvenience because he couldn't go back home to his kids. And my mom is just like telling me, like, you should fucking fight this. You should like take him to court because once again, he is responsible for you guys. Like she was like telling me, like, like, how can this guy like take you guys all the way to the top, but he couldn't take you guys all the way down? Why? Because like he had to like fulfill his family obligations, knowing damn well that like he was, he has like two people. He's responsible for two people that never hiked before, and he doesn't even know those fucking trails. So that's kind of the situation where we're in. But you know what? We're home. We're safe. We're never going to leave our apartment ever again. And we're never going to talk to that guy again. And we're definitely going to fight this bill because we don't, like, it was not our fault. Like, literally, we didn't know that we were going to go all the way to the top. But instead, like, this guy fucking took us all the way to the top. And he wasn't even helpful. He wasn't even considerate to, like, take us all the way down because we were just such an inconvenience because he had to go back home to his kids. And I understand that. Because I had to go back home too to go visit my family. But why the fuck would you plan to take a fucking hike all the way to the top of the mountain knowing that we had no experience to go hiking? Like, we had no experience. We didn't even know how to go back home. Like, we literally got lost on the way back. And so that's kind of what happened. I hope you guys take this as a learning lesson. Don't go hiking unless you're prepared. Take fucking lights, take a compass, take a map, like a fucking paper map, not your fucking GPS. Take a blanket, take food, take tons of water. Take like one of those like filter straws as well, because if you find a river, maybe you could like, drink the river without having to get any fucking diarrhea as a consequence because you're trying to survive. Like, be prepared. And then like, I definitely will never ever go hiking ever again. And I definitely don't plan to talk to that person ever again in my life. So if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to comment down below your fucking scariest fucking near-death experience, because this near-death experience was like the cherry on top. I've been through like really crazy shit in my life, and like I never had anything like this happen to me through the faults of someone else. But it's okay. I learned the hard way. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.